I'm going to be doing the It's All Relative book tag, which was created by Dunn Reads and Writes. I think they created it a couple of weeks ago, and they very kindly tagged me and loads of other great booktubers, so I thought I'd give it a go. And I also thought I'd give the, the page 112 book challenge. I think Sean the Book Maniac came up with, and I saw Matthew at Maybury Book Club do that, and a few other people have done it as well, so I thought I'd give that a go too at the end of the video. But let's jump into this tag. I've been really enjoying watching people do it, so hopefully this will be fun. Prompt 1. Mamma Mia. Recommend a book with a mother character that is pivotal to the story. Maybe not quite pivotal, but I was thinking of the mother character in the title story in The Bloody Chamber by Angela Carter. And yeah, this story is like a reworking of the fairy tale of Bluebeard's Castle. And so if you don't know, it's a woman who gets married to a man who lives in the castle, and he's maybe a bit brooding and mysterious. And he often goes away on business or something, and when he goes away he gives his wife the keys to the castle, and he shows her one key and he says that she's not to open the door that this key can unlock. And of course she goes, every time he goes away she tries to find the door, and one day when he's away she finds the door, inevitably opens it, and spoilers, the room contains the cadavers, the corpses of his dead wives. And he's planning to do the same to her, and I think somehow her mother gets wind of this, or gets wind that something is amiss, and she gallops onto the scene to rescue her daughter. I'm not sure if this rescue is needed by the end. I can't quite remember how it ends, but definitely the image of how her mother comes onto the scene, it's really funny, very memorable. Then next up, Papa Don't Preach. A book with a father figure you like or despise. I'm going to go with a father figure I like. I'm going to give you two for the price of one. They're both Jane Austen father figures. Number one is Mr. Woodhouse from Emma, who is just so funny. And recently me and my sister were talking about Jane Austen characters in which we would be, and she thought that I would be Mr. Woodhouse. I'm not sure if she's right or what that says of me. And maybe Emma was in my head as well, because I just watched Kelly over at Books I'm Not Reading, and her and her husband Jason from All Blues Chapter and Verse had watched Clueless, and we're talking about that, and that's kind of reworking of Emma. But I was also thinking of Mr. Bennet in Pride and Prejudice, who I think is a great father figure. He's not perfect, he makes mistakes, he has to apologise, but he also learns a lot, I think, over the course of the book, which I think is great, and I think it's good to have father figures who aren't perfect, and I think that's a lovely thing that adds depth to a father figure in fiction. Then number 3 is Brothers and Sisters, a book with an interesting sibling relationship, bit of a dark twist. I'll give you another Angela Carter book, and that'll be The Magic Toy Shop, and I won't tell you exactly what it is or much about the plot, but yeah, by the end you see an interesting sibling relationship. But I'm going to move quickly on to prompt 4. It's been 84 years. A book you like with multi-generational or chronicles a character's whole life. And I was thinking of The Hair of Amber Eyes by Edmund de Waal. This is a work of non-fiction about a family and about the objects they own, and a particular set of objects that are passed through through the generations. And I thought it was just great, and it's great to see how Europe changed from the mid-1800s through to the mid-20th century, and then it goes on to Japan afterwards. I just thought it was great to give an example of just someone from that family, I think her name was Elizabeth, I might be wrong, but you know, a girl growing up in the family in the 1910s, I think it is, and she grew up looking out of her window and seeing the university in Vienna, and just thinking, one day I'm going to get in there, even though the intake of female students was really low. And she did. She became a lawyer and a poet. She wrote letters to Rilke, and I just thought her character, I mean, she was a real person as well, which makes it just amazing. And I just felt so happy learning about her dedication and her commitment, particularly at that time. And there's so many other just really great sort of moving little family stories in this book. And then number 5, You Complete Me, a book with an interesting marriage as a central element to the story. And I was thinking of The Woman in White by Wilkie Collins, again a dark interpretation of the prompt. And in this book we have a sort of blooming relationship at the beginning of the book, but then we get a bit further in and we find out it's never going to happen, because the woman in this relationship has been promised, you know, her family have promised her to someone else, and she doesn't want to marry this other person, but she has to, she's obliged to. The book is just an amazing example of what I think they called a sensation novel. It's very gothic and dramatic, and the marriage happens about halfway through and it just gets worse from there, and the further in you get, the more you see how this marriage was kind of important for the family and for this man she's getting married to, in these twisted ways. You see all the tentacles coming together, and it's a great book. I would heartily recommend The Woman in White if you haven't read it. Or if you have read it, read it again, it's great. Then prompt 6, Picture It Sicily, a book with an interesting elder character, like a grandparent or a great-grandparent. I was thinking of Professor Diggory Kirk in the Chronicles of Narnia. I think particularly in The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, where he is an elder character. And as a kid, I was just so intrigued by this character. He's away in his study. I have no idea what he's doing. I want to know what he's doing. I want to know what he's a professor of. I have no idea. Is he an alchemist? I don't know. And all these kind of really cool, mysterious things about him. And then to find out there's the magician's nephew, and he has his own little story when he's a kid. I really love that too. So yeah, I'll go with Diggory Kirk from the Narnia books. Then 7, Friends with Benefits, so a book with a found family or friends as family element. And I was thinking of the Fellowship of the Ring, or all the Lord of the Rings books, but just the dynamics of the Fellowship of the Ring, even when it's splintered and different groups of the Fellowship have to go off in different directions. I just love how their relationships get deeper. I mean, even though Frodo and Sam are already friends at the beginning, by the end they've gone through so much, and they kind of, you really want them to be reunited with everyone else, and I just love the way that you have a group of people who most of whom haven't met each other before. They have to trust each other, and they go through all these trials together. So I'll go with that. Number 8 is I Think We're Alone Now, a book with a character who is lost, left behind or abandoned, and this can be a story with an orphaned or adopted character. I'll go with Hester Shaw from Mortal Engines, which is a great book, or set of books. The Mortal Engines Quartet is a great kind of steampunk book. And Hester is orphaned at a young age and has to, she has to survive on her own. And she's eventually sort of rescued by this cyborg character, but then eventually she abandons the cyborg character. And I think the great thing about Hester is how she has to learn to trust other people after spending her whole life pretty much on her own, plotting her revenge, and so she's a great character. And then number 9 is Fur Baby, a book where a pet or animal is part of the family and or plays an important role in the book. This pet isn't part of necessarily a family, but part of the group of friends in Three Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. The dog in the story, Montmorency, that's his name. Yeah, Montmorency, he's a great character, all of his own. You can be forgiven for thinking at the beginning of the book that he's another person, and even after you work out he's actually a dog. You know, he is a character in the book. He's very animated. We're told his thoughts. There's a great encounter with a tomcat, which is really funny. And it's a book that's about people and what they get up to. But the dog, Montmorency, is such a great character as well, and really made the book for me. I recently read this as a group read that Mark at Book Time with Elvis put together. Really enjoyed it. A great bunch of people, and yeah, I thought I'd just acknowledge that at the end. But there we go. That's that tag. Before I move on to the page 112 challenge, I thought I'd tag some people to do this. So I'll tag Christina at Knitting Books etc., Matthew at Bottle Imp Books, Freddie at Sluggish Reader, and also Mark at Book Time with Elvis. So I don't think any of you have done this yet or been tagged to do it yet, but yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And now I'll move over to the page 112 challenge, and I thought I'd pick up a book that I'm hoping to read soon. And this book, it might give me an idea of what this book's like before I get to it. So this is the book of Disquiet. Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading, when I mentioned this really recently in the comments, she was like, no, don't read it, because I think it is quite depressing. But we'll see. So I've turned to page 112, and I'll read you the first full fragment from that page. So, any soul worthy of the name wants to live life to the extreme. To be content with what one is given shows an attitude fit for slaves. Only children ask for more. Only madmen want to conquer more. For every conquest is... It doesn't go on. To live life to the extreme means to live it to the limits, but there are 3 ways of doing this, and it falls to every superior soul to choose one of these ways. Life lived to the extreme means taking full possession of it, making a Ulyssesian journey through every human feeling, through every manifestation of externalized energy. However, at any time in the history of the world, there have never been more than a few who can close their eyes with a weariness that is the sum of all weariness, who have possessed everything in every possible way. Only a few can make such demands on life, and by so doing force her to surrender to them body and soul, knowing that they need feel no jealousy, because they know they have all her love. And this should doubtless be the desire of every strong and lofty soul. When that soul, however, realizes that what he wants is impossible, that he does not have the strength to conquer every part of everything, there are 2 other routes to follow. The first is that of total renunciation, formal and complete abstention, relegating to the sphere of sensibility what cannot be possessed fully in the arena of activity and energy. It is far better not to act at all than to act in vain, fragmentarily, inadequately, like the countless superfluous, inane majority of men. The second is the path of perfect balance, the search for the limits of absolute proportion, in which the longing for the extreme passes from the will and the emotions to the intelligence, one's whole ambition becoming not to live life to the full, not to feel life to the full, but to impose order on life, to live in it in harmony and intelligent coordination. The longing to understand, which in so many noble souls takes the place of action, belongs to the sphere of sensibility. Replacing energy with intelligence, breaking the link between will and emotion, stripping of self-interest every manifestation of material life that, if one can achieve it, is worth more than life, so difficult to possess completely, and so sad if possessed only partially. The Argonauts said it was the journey that mattered, not life. We, the Argonauts of an ailing sensibility, say it is not living that matters, but feeling. That's build over to 113. Yeah, a few weird things in there, I suppose, but yeah, definitely interesting, I think. Maybe not the gloomiest of passages in the Book of Disquiet. But yeah, if any of you want, want to try this, essentially, Sean the Book Maniac said that what he does when he goes into a bookshop is to turn to page 112 instead of just reading the first page, because he just reckons that it gives you a better idea, and perhaps it does. You're getting the author as maybe in the flow of things, maybe a bit better. But yeah, if you want to try this, I think a few other people on BookTube have done it. Yeah, if you want to have a go at it, please do. For those who are tagged, if you want to do this too, please do, but I'll extend this to anyone, since strictly speaking it's not a tag, it's just a challenge. So yeah, I'll just pass that challenge on. But that's that for now. So I hope you enjoyed this sort of hybrid video. Thank you again, AJ, for tagging me. Thank you all for watching. I hope you're having a good week where you are. Yeah, that's that for now. I probably won't make another video in this flat because I'm moving this week. So there won't be any sort of fresh videos from me this week. I do have some of the library tour videos because I managed to film the bookcases before we boxed up all the books, so I might be able to put up a couple of those this week as we're moving. But yeah, that's that. So yeah, the next time you see my face, or at least the next time I record a new video, I'll be somewhere else, so that's quite cool. Anyway, yeah, thanks for sticking with this, and I'll see you soon. Take care, bye.